This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, so same reason for doing this video as the last videos, because there's no boxing going on, alright? So sit tight, nothing's changing, I'm just actually waiting for boxing news. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about Tottenham Hotspur. Now, when I was a kid, my best friend was a huge Tottenham fan. So of course they become like, I'll say my second favourite team, but I kind of like knew a lot about them. And of course I did have an affiliation with them as well, with such players when I was a kid, like Chris Waddle, Paul Gascoigne and others like that, who are obviously from Newcastle. So I knew a lot about Tottenham. In fact, I actually lost my bag in school once and my best friend gave me a Spurs bag. That's right. And we used to always go out playing football, you know, jumpers for goalposts and all that kind of thing. And we'd always be like Newcastle versus Tottenham. And so for me, Tottenham, I knew a lot about it because my friend would always talk about Tottenham. Okay. And of course, with the England team as well, a lot of the England team at that time was from Tottenham. Now, I know quite a bit about, I don't know everything about their history, not as much as I do with Newcastle and what have you, but with Tottenham, I feel like I know quite a bit about them, as I do with a few other teams, just because I studied the history of who's who in football, all right? Now, I chose Pat Jennings as goalkeeper. That might be a little bit controversial because obviously he played for Arsenal as well, and a lot of people consider him to be a legend for Arsenal. And I can't really disagree with that. Now, with Dishburn, he played a tremendous amount of games for Tottenham Hotspur way back when. So if you're like a real hardcore Tottenham fan, you may well put Jennings behind Dishburn and that. But for me, I always felt that Pat Jennings was the greatest goalkeeper ever. That's why I put him in there. But if you're a Tottenham fan, I can fully understand why maybe you wouldn't. But for me, I think Pat Jennings was something special, really was. But of course, Tottenham had so many great goalkeepers. I mean, you could even put in there like Ian Walker in that if you really wanted to. And of course, they've always had some pretty good goalkeepers, that's for sure. But for me, Pat Jennings. On the right-hand side, Sol Campbell. And the reason I put Sol Campbell is, to be honest, I couldn't really think of any kind of like right backs that really kind of like stood out to me off the top of my head, because all of this is unscripted. So Sol Campbell, while he was a central defender, and of course there's controversy again, much like Pat Jennings because he played for Arsenal, but I put him in there because he could play at right back. And again, this is all for players who are retired. So if you consider your current right back a really good player, or a previous player who's still playing, that's why they're not in the team, because these are all retired players. But Sol Campbell, he was great at Tottenham, let's be honest. He was really good. He was pretty good for England as well. And of course, he was very good for Arsenal. But for me, I think that Tottenham, I think Sol Campbell will do a pretty decent job at right back. Again, this is one of those things where plenty of Tottenham fans will come out and say, well, about this player, that player, that player, that player. I said, I can only have 11 on the pitch and 5 on the bench. And obviously, 1 goalkeeper, 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 strikers and 5 substitutes. I can't have Teddy Sheringham. I can't have loads of these other kind of players if there's no room for them on the pitch. Unfortunately, some quality players are going to have to go sit in the stand. So anyway, so Campbell, Gary Mabbott. Now, I vaguely remember Gary Mabbott. In fact, my friend was a big Gary Mabbott fan, and my memory of Gary Mabbott was wearing a mask. I'm sure he ended up wearing a mask due to some kind of injury. And one of the games that my friend would always put on for videotape was Tottenham Hotspur. And I think they actually lost, if I remember rightly, to Coventry City in the FA Cup final. But Gary Mabbott was always a huge part of my friend's life with football. He loved Gary Mabbott. He thought he was something special. I mean, I was pretty amazed with him as well. Not sold on him as my friend, but Gary Mabbott, I'm pretty much putting him in there because of my friend, because he's a massive Gary Mabbott fan. Steve Perryman. Going what I know about Tottenham, if I didn't put Perryman in there or Henry at left back, if I ever went to Enfield or any part of like North London, Tottenham fans would probably be swinging for me if I didn't put either of these in the team, due to the amount of games that they actually played for Tottenham. They seemed as absolute legends. So that's why I had to put them in there. Even though I don't know an awful lot about them, or my friend's mum used to talk about Perryman a little bit. Same with McKay. McKay is arguably the #1 legend for Tottenham. But of course, I've got him in midfield. Of course, what he was, a bit of an aggressive player at times, and certainly a general on the football pitch. If you're not really a Tottenham fan, you may not know too much about him. But if you're a Tottenham fan, you will certainly know about McKay. That is for sure, as you will with Paul Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne, in my opinion, England's greatest ever footballer. Disagree if you like, but that's my personal opinion. That's why I got him in the Tottenham Hotspur team. Of course, originally from Newcastle, or played for Newcastle, England, and that as well. And in fact, 1990 was when he was joining up with Tottenham. Of course, he was going to be signing up with Man United. Then Terry Venables got him to change his mind. But Paul Gascoigne did absolutely wonders at Tottenham, and again got a massive transfer fee over to Lazio from then on in. But Paul Gascoigne, and I'm sure Tottenham fans, you'll agree with me, legend. On the right hand side, I've got Glenn Hoddle. Yes, I know he's predominantly a central midfielder, but I could have put Darren Anderton on there, but I thought, nah, that wouldn't go down too well. So I had to put Glenn Hoddle on the pitch. Not the greatest manager in the world, but player, he was exceptional. In fact, he's one of the very few kind of like midfield players that didn't take too many long shots. Of course he did, and scored some pretty spectacular ones. But Glenn Hoddle, he would have this ability to run at defenders, go round defenders, and rather than try and chip the goalkeeper or just blast it at the goalkeeper and hope he's going to go in, no, he was one of these confident players that would actually dribble the ball around a diving goalkeeper as he's coming at his legs, just dink it over him, jump over the goalkeeper and score. Glenn Hoddle was something special, as was Chris Waddle. If you see my previous Newcastle video, you'll know why, so we don't need to get into too much of that one. But Chris Waddle, again, exceptional player, and anybody with Tottenham, while you may not totally agree with all the team that you see on your screen, and you can come up with other ones and that as well, I think you probably agree that these are all very good players and actually have a very good team. So Chris Waddle for there, and the two strikers. Tottenham have always been blessed with strikers. They really have. Gary Lineker, for me, one of the greatest English strikers ever. I think Gary Lineker, he had a great time at Leicester and of course with England as well. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, most people will probably remember him for Tottenham. Excellent goal scorer. He had a brief stint at Barcelona and that as well. Obviously with Bobby Robson. Bobby Robson was a huge Gary Lineker fan. Rest in peace, Sir Bobby. But Gary Lineker was a goal machine. Goal hanger extraordinaire, but absolute machine. So for me, Gary Lineker, legend for Tottenham. Jimmy Greaves, legend for Tottenham and Chelsea, and of course England. But I think that Jimmy Greaves, again, absolute goal scorer. In fact, I heard that he's ill, actually. So I haven't looked on too much more of that, but I heard that he's ill right now. But Jimmy Greaves was a great pundit as well after his time. He was the one who was coming out with, it's a game of two halves, isn't it? That's him. That's a Jimmy Greaves. But as a player, absolutely phenomenal. A phenomenal goal scorer. Anybody who follows Tottenham talk about Jimmy Greaves, they get like a warmth in their heart. They love Jimmy Greaves. Substitutes. As about the goalkeeper previously, right there. A lot of Tottenham fans will probably have him in the #1 position, and that's fair play. I put Ozzy Ardiles in there. Argentinian international, pretty crap manager, and it's coming from a Newcastle United fan where he did manage Newcastle for a brief stint. Didn't do too great with Tottenham either, so not a great manager, but as a player, very exceptional player. Of course, played in the same team with his teammate there, Ricky Villa, at not only Tottenham, but Argentina. Exceptional player. Bags and bags of skill, really was, as was with Ricky Villa. If I had to choose between them, me personally, I'll probably go Ricky Villa, but I know a lot of Tottenham fans will probably head towards Ozzy Ardiles as a player, so that's why I've got them two in there. And of course, Smith, goal scoring machine. In fact, a lot of real hardcore Tottenham fans will probably have him on the pitch, even ahead of Gary Lineker, even ahead of Jimmy Greaves. But for me, I had to make sure he's on the pitch. I said, I don't want to get lynched. And of course, Jurgen Klinsmann. Again, fantastic player from Germany. I used to love the Klinsmann dive. Me and my friend used to do that quite a bit. And of course, get in trouble when we got home with the grass stains on our shirts. But Jurgen Klinsmann, exceptional. Wasn't there for the greatest amount of time, but while he was there, made a huge impact. Not just on Tottenham, but on British football. So anyway, that is my first starting 11 for Tottenham Hotspur, plus the 5 substitutes. Because you drop me yours, don't worry Arsenal fans, I'll do have a video for you as well, so don't worry about it. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.